What's up, everybody? This is Zach B, and welcome back to another brand new tips episode here on Blowout Gaming. Now, guys, if you haven't already checked out my first gameplay episode, definitely check it out after this one, because in the first episode, I tamed a Shadowmane. In this process, I learned a lot. A lot of ways not to tame a Shadowmane, and a couple of tips to help you guys tame it up a little bit easier. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump right into it. Now, if you've already tried taming a Shadowmane, pretty good chance you know the basics. Number one, you should always be wearing ghillie when we're dealing with these Shadowmanes. Number two, we want to approach them from behind. Number three, we're going to want to clear out the area around the Shadowmane while it kind of wanders around. And then number four, we can only tame during the daytime. I was able to take these tips and turn it around into basically a 15-minute tame. It changed everything. Number one, set up a fish farm for yourself. Now, this is no joke, guys. It sounds kind of silly, but we need a safe place to store all of the fish that we are catching up beforehand. Unfortunately, these fish baskets do spoil. Now, for those of you who don't already know this, once you tame a fish with the fish basket, you can actually re-release it back into the water as a tamed fish, which means that the timer is going to reset. This is really, really handy because obviously we have to take our time and catch the right sized fish for this tame. And of course, that leads me directly into tip number two. You guys need to catch the biggest fish. Do not go after piranhas. Piranhas do not get very big, maybe 1.1 at most. You guys should be looking for the fattest coals that you can find. Anything 1.2 and higher is the best. I personally did this with 1.2s and 1.3s, and it took a few fish to get it done with my settings. So obviously the settings are going to matter, but the bigger the fish you have, the better. This was the hardest part for me because in the first go round, I spent so much time worrying about those fish going bad that I ended up rushing the tame. And guys, you cannot rush this tame. So after we got the fish farm set up, after we got all of the fat fish sitting there waiting for us, step number three, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick out our Shadowmane in advance. That's right, we're going to leave these fish right where they are, safe and sound, because as soon as we pick out our Shadowmane, we can come back and pick up the amount of fish that we're going to need for the level that we found. So obviously we're looking for a high level, and you can see here, this is a nice high level. So now I'm going to head back to my base. I know it's a little bit of back and forth, but trust me, it's worth it if we take our time. We have our fish, we have our ghillie, we have our weapons to clear out the area around us like I had already mentioned, and now we're ready to go back and tackle that tame. A little side note, when we are taking a look for Shadowmanes and picking them out in advance, we want to find a Shadowmane away from the water if possible. We can find packs away from the water, which will make your life a whole lot easier, trust me. Now, this is going to lead us directly into the next tip. Always approach on foot. But once you do not go back into the air. So, guys, this messed me up so many times. I would sneak up on foot, and then I would kind of panic, back away, and then jump into the air safely. Not a big deal. They didn't attack me. The problem was getting back onto the ground without them noticing. The more time you're up and down, the worse it's going to be. And that's the same for the full prone position. You never want to go on your belly because that's basically the equivalent of sprinting up to its face. So the only thing you want to do is crouch in your ghillie on foot, and you're going to want to approach it like that and then stay on the ground. Because we're staying on the ground, we have to keep a couple things in mind. So that leads me to our next tip. Give yourself at least 50 meters at all times from the Shadowmane. So while these guys are walking around and pacing and doing their thing, you can clearly see how far away they are once you fed it a fish and you can track it. So this tracker is absolutely amazing. It gives you really, really good distance feedback so you guys can stay safe at all times. And this is really important because if it creeps up on you 20, 30 meters, there's a chance that it's going to see you. And you can see it automatically. It'll change its body posture. It'll sniff the air, and then you're going to get electrocuted. And then this brings me to my final tip. Once the Shadowmane lays down, you need to give yourself an imaginary 25-second timer. That's right. I counted this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, just like that in my head, guys. This worked every time. So once you see that bad boy lay down, start counting. And guys, you have to stick to it because I would get so close, 25, 26. I'm like, oh, I'm going to feed it. I got it. And then it stands up. And you're right there. And then, of course, you freak out and it attacks you. And the tame starts all over again. Guys, this is one of the hardest tames that anybody is going to do. Genesis Part 2 is a lot of fun, and the Shadowmane has totally changed the game. Hopefully these tips help you guys as much as they helped me. Honestly, it took a bunch of hours. Again, make sure to check out that episode because it is a bunch of laughs. Smash that subscribe button, hit that like button if this helped, and I'll see you guys in the next one.